What's up? And welcome back to the channel. I know you guys haven't seen me in a little bit, and we've made a few changes with the truck, one of which is right there. I'm gonna go back over there and show you in just a second. But I built a aluminum pipe for the turbo to come out the fender. I'll give you a little better look here shortly. But the last race was the first race with the Power Glide, and we went back over the data. First pass, I'm not going to say mile an hour because I don't want to, it don't matter. So the first pass I went out, we finished that pass. I lifted at like 6,200 RPM. The mile an hour was decent. Next pass, we added a little bit more power out the back. Didn't add any early. The mile an hour was up, so was RPM, which doesn't really mean much. Third round, which, you know, and mind you, I was not looking at the data during these passes. We waited till after the race to look at the data. As long as we're making passes and it's going down with no issues, I'm not going to make any changes. And that night, I didn't make any changes after the first and second passes. So we go out, the third round, the mile an hour was down, like 10 mile an hour. But the RPM was up another 1,000 RPM. Now we need to look at the last pass. So we get to the data on the very last pass. We're down more mile an hour, and we're up to 8,333 RPM when I lifted. When you're up that kind of RPM and down mile an hour, you better start looking. I just assumed that I had blew through the 5-clutch drum that was in this Power Glide. I was wrong. Last night, I got a wild hair that I needed to get this down to the shop, get it on the rack, pull the trans apart, and change it with some parts that I'd actually just recently bought. I bought a 8-clutch drum that's good for more power than I can make. I went ahead and had that ready because I knew that this one wasn't going to hold. Lo and behold, that clutch drum was absolutely fine. There was nothing wrong with it. So, which I don't have it with me, it's still at the shop. I'm just getting closer to this exhaust for you. So, I went ahead and pulled it apart, and in 2 hours, I had this thing on the rack, pulled completely down, transmission rebuilt back together. I know my way around this truck. We think that we may have had a converter issue. I don't know what it's like when you break a sprag in a transmission. The converter may have been broke. I don't know. But we have a PTC unit that I have had it in the truck before. It's been a long time, so we think this converter may be a little too tight for what I'm trying to do, but next pass out, we'll find out. It may be a while. I don't really know for that. I do know that I had an issue. I had to call Kevin, one of my good buddies. He's a Power Glide guy, and I knew that I was overlooking something. So put this thing back together, had forward, had reverse, put it on the trans brake, it takes forward. So now I'm like, okay, let me readjust this band, try this again. I done it the same way I already knew how to do it. Same thing. Put it in gear, hit the button, it takes off forward. Now I'm like thinking, did something come apart with the band adjustment? What did I do wrong? And I call Kevin, and I'm like, man, I'm having an issue. I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm going to have to pull this thing apart, and I really don't want to pull it apart. So he's like, man, it just, the way you're describing it sounds like you're just putting it in second. And I look over. I've been putting this thing in high gear. Idiot. I mean, I'm an idiot. So he laughs about it, and he's like, man, you can't be perfect all the time. You know, and I agreed. Everybody makes mistakes. So he stayed on the phone with me, and I realized that the Turbo 400 that I've raced for 9 years in this truck is reverse pattern, first, second, third as you go back. So immediately I put it in what I thought was first, which was high. put it first, guess what? Trans brake works. So then, now that it engages, we both have a laugh. Now you guys hopefully will laugh at my dumb mistake. I got back under there and readjusted the band and brought this thing home. So now, I'm kind of up to speed with where I'm at and what's been going on. Let me flip this thing around so you can see that exhaust that I built, and I'll tell you what I built it out of. That is a Silverado driveline, 5-inch aluminum 070 wall. Got a Amazon O2 bung, welded that one in there. Pretty sure, I'm not positive, but I thought I ordered this off Amazon, but coming to BTR box, I didn't know that BTR sold a 5-inch aluminum Marmon clamp, or not clamp, but flange, but they do. That thing literally only saved me like a few pounds. The other one was 6.5 or 7 pounds. That one's 3.5, something like that. Definitely not happy. I was cutting this, I had to cut it a little farther, and Sawzall kicked, and it was already folded anyways, and it just wadded up. I don't care. This truck is just not pretty. I ain't worried about it. We may make a trim ring flange around it at some point, but for now, I'm probably going to leave it like that. Let me know what you guys think. It don't hurt my feelings one bit if y'all think it's ugly, or if you love it. It may stay for a while. Then again, I may just lob that off with a Sawzall, you know, before the next race. I really don't know. But hopefully, we got the transmission fixed for good. Like I said, that converter was giving me the awfulest fit ever was. You know, I really hope it was the converter. Personally, I've never heard anybody talking about breaking the stator or the sprag inside of a converter. And I've Googled the symptoms, and Googling will only give you stress, because everybody and their cousins, brothers, nephew has somebody with a different outcome, and nobody knows the truth. So I may contact PTC in the morning or Monday, maybe, depending on when I get a chance, and talk to them, because I know the numbers that's on this one. It may not be what's inside of it, but we can maybe have an idea. You know, I did stall this up on a foot brake just to see where it would flash to. I did put it on the trans brake, and it does make boost on the brake. I didn't pull the log to see what it made, but it does work, and I can tell them the numbers on the converter, and maybe they can work with that. But yeah, if you guys have ever broke a stator or a sprag, let me know what your symptoms were. This one just felt like we were blowing through the converter on the big end. And then, you know, the data log definitely proves it. We were eating around 1,200 pounds of fuel. This is on E85. So the truck is on some good power. Maybe that converter just couldn't handle it. I don't know. But if you do know, or maybe you can give me some insight on how these converters work on the inside as far as the stators go, I'd like to learn as much as I can on this, and maybe I can relay some of the information I learned from you guys and make it in the next video. So thank you. Can't wait for this next video. You don't want to miss it.